Hypothetical question. What fictional character would you not want to mess with no matter what powers you were given? We will give you full explanation and caveats during this episode of Hypothetical Questions with the Gray Matters blog and our co-host, Hatter from Save Awesome Studios. Hatter, are you ready to discuss a hypothetical question of who you would not screw with under any circumstances?
Yep, I already have an answer and everything.
All right. In this hypothetical, we're going to go ahead and flesh it out for everyone. You are given the option of any powers you can choose. You can have near godlike. It's, of course, not going to be complete, unlimited omnipotence, but it can be any set of powers, anything you want, any abilities, and someone that you still think would be a terrible person to be on the wrong side of. So, Hatter, who is the person you're not messing with?
I'm going to go with Kain from Legacy of Kain. How much do you know about him?
I know quite a bit, but go ahead and let everyone know what would keep you from thinking you could handle him no matter what powers you have.
Here's the thing about Kain. Kain literally, and I don't misuse the word literally, so you know I'm being serious. He literally runs on spite and anger. No matter what you do to him, if he's too angry to accept it, he will not. Let me give you a perfect example. Spoilers, but the game is 25 years old, so deal with it, I guess. In Legacy of Kain Defiance, he gets into his final confrontation with Raziel. They have a big fight. It's one of the coolest fights in the game. Ozer Midrashim is playing. If you don't know that, it's some music from the game, some of the best game music of all time. Finally, Raziel has him. He's got him trapped in a field, and he grabs him by the arm, and the Reaver starts trying to absorb his soul, which he's trying to prevent obviously. So Kain's trying to explain himself. Raziel isn't listening. I'm not going to get into why, because if I get into this whole scene, we'll be here for 3 hours.
We are going to try to keep it to on topic to the question, because yes, we are not going to do an entire rant on Legacy of Kain. That will be its whole own video. In fact, we already have done a video where we did a bunch of stuff about that on one of our other channels, Liminal Radio Horror Podcast. But we're going to keep this, so narrow it down, Hatter. What is more specifically about what badass thing has he done?
So we're going to just fast forward through the 3 hours of lore I could talk about in this 45-second scene. Raziel says Kain's famous catchphrase, Ve Victus, suffering to the conquered, and reaches his hand into his chest and rips out his heart. Kicks him into hell itself. Kain wakes up there. There's demons surrounding him. He's like, no. He fights off the demons, comes back, gets his revenge. So let me just explain to you what just happened. Kain was killed. His heart was ripped out. He was drop-kicked into hell, and he just said, and came back. And more importantly, let's talk about things Kain's done prior. He shattered the Reaver over Raziel's head in Soul Reaver. We see him with it again in a later game, and we find out later, what did he do? He went back in time and got another one. I can't imagine any power that could defeat Kain's spite.
That is a fantastic choice of someone I would not want to mess with. And I have another character that I'm choosing kind of for similar reasons, and in some ways they're actually similar in archetype. Because the character from fiction that I am choosing that I would not want to cross no matter what is Kratos from the God of War franchise. And in a lot of ways, he's a lot like that. Same thing. He runs on hate and spite, and he's had to build up his power over long periods of time. And we see him just absolutely demolishing any entity he is set up against. Now, technically, when it begins, he is actually less powerful than some of the gods and some of these different creatures, so the Titans and things like that. But by the end, he is going to become powerful enough to kill them all, and he destroys all the gods. He basically just absolutely demolished everyone on Mount Olympus, but that's kind of because of the story it is. And this actually ties in with Kain just a little bit, because the narrative structure matters. These are characters that are going to go through the hero's journey, with giant quotation marks, heroes, for both of these characters, and no matter what happens, by the end of it, they will have enough power to defeat you. So even if you start off very godlike, then they're just going to have to go on an entire journey of self-discovery where they eventually become powerful enough to destroy you. You're just setting yourself up as the villain in a video game. So Kratos is absolutely my pick for the person I'm not going up against.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Kain. He's got time travel, so if you defeat him even in his younger phase, he's just like, the future him's just going to come and be like, You remember what happened all those years ago? That was 5 minutes ago, dude. Not for me. And then he'd probably just take you out.
And that is a wonderful kind of Deus Ex Machina, or Diablos Ex Machina in this case, where no matter what, even if you're able to win, he time travel, everything will just get timey-wimey and he'll win anyway. So now this brings up a really interesting question. Out of our two characters, of course, I picked Kratos, you picked Kain from Legacy of Kain. Who would you rather mess with out of the other one's choice?
Honestly, and not for the reason you're going to think right away, if one was going to come after me, I'd pick Kratos. And here's why. Kratos takes out gods. Yes, he's extremely powerful, but here's the difference. Kain likes to play with his food. Kain is not someone who... Kratos is more rage than spite. So I feel like Kratos would come at me like a hurricane of blades, and it would be like a blender, and I'd be dead in a few seconds. Kain... Now, here's where things get difficult. If we're talking, maybe I can reason with Kain and join his cause and get the dark gift and, train over the years to be one of his lieutenants, then I'm picking Kain. But assuming that's not on the table, if Kain really hates me, he's going to play with his food for a long time. And Kain, as much as you want to love him as you play through the series, he's scary. If you make an enemy of him, he is scary.
See, and I'm kind of going to choose out of the two. I have this, I don't know, it's so close to me because in some ways, like I said, they're very similar characters. They have a lot in common. I'm going to break down and say I would probably rather Kain come after me than Kratos, but that's just because, again, I feel like with Kain, there are options. There is negotiation. There is something we can do. He has at least been put into setbacks, although Kratos technically has to. I feel like at least there's going to be a whole adventure in whatever I decide to do to try to deal with Kain, whereas Kratos is just going to come at me so angry I explode. So I'm at least going to go for the more complicated story of my death at the hands of Kain.
See, yeah, that's my thought. If there is some even small odds that I could possibly side with Kain, like if he's like, you defeated me, how? I could be like, well, I'll join your side and show you how, and we could both get more powerful off of each other. Then yeah, I'm going to say let me face Kain. But if I know for certain that I'm going to be killed by one of them, if the choice is which one of these guys is going to kill you, it's Kratos, because he doesn't realize how strong he is, and again, just boom, I'm dead in a second. Kain is probably going to hang me on a meat hook or something just to get his revenge. Don't make Kain angry. I said it a few times now, but don't make an enemy of him.
All right, I think those are both really cool answers. Everyone, I want you to tell me in the comments what your choice would be. What fictional character would you not mess with no matter what power I give you? This can be any character from any movie, book, video game, manga, anime, you name it. Everything is on the table. So everyone, make sure that you let us know what your answer would be in the comments. Also, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit all the buttons, do all the things. And this has been Gray from The Gray Matters blog and Hatter from Save Awesome Studios. Make sure that you're following him. All his information will be at the bottom as well. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Hypothetical Questions.